Welcome to this hip hop breakdown. We're going to dive deep into the rap battle between Kendrick Lamar and Drake. And this video is also going to be explaining how to win a rap battle, what it actually takes, and for helping the viewers who are listening to this battle and helping you understand what it means to actually win a rap battle. That way you can have better perspective, even though everybody has their own opinions of what they think is best and what they like. There's certain credentials and certain scenarios that play big factors into the final verdict of what it takes to win a rap battle. And we'll get into pretty much all of it in this video here. And the first thing I want to talk about is giving somebody the truth. And this is a very important part of the rap battles because you can have the greatest bars, but if they're not true, then it doesn't matter. For the casual fan, maybe somebody just hearing it for shock value, it'll be fun and interesting to hear something shocking. But the truth behind these things is what sustains if it's worth even considering as the best. And so with Kendrick Lamar and Drake, there's a lot of shade being thrown back and forth, but we have a lot of evidence as well. So I would say there's pretty much 80% evidence for each of the artists at the moment. And then there's 20 that we still have in the air about mostly Drake, but we'll get into that a little bit later and talk about it. But that is an important factor. So the question here for Kendrick and Drake, and we'll make videos breaking more things down that you can check out later about these claims and what is targeting going to be like when it comes to them, right? And I don't want to go down too deep, but just to kind of give you an example, the allegations of Kendrick hitting his wife. This is true, right? But he owns up to it in the album Morales, talking about he has to be a better man and all of that good stuff. And regardless if you okay with this or not, I don't think anybody should be okay with it. This is a part of the beef, right? And that's a big deal because it's like, dude, what type of person are you? But then there's a long list of allegations against Drake. A lot of them are true. Things like the cultural appropriation, where he continues to try to be more black with a lot of the nonsense that he's done, going from actor into the hip hop scene and utilizing it as best as possible. First of all, I accept Drake. I don't worry about him saying the N word. I don't worry about him, dressing away or being away. We all grow up in different cultures. It's perfectly fine. But there's a lot of the stuff that we've seen that the evidence has come forward about, him manipulating and trying to be the fit in guy, fall into that circle. And unfortunately, that shouldn't be the focus of the battle, but it is a stain about his character. There's other things like allegations about him with young women, which there's evidence about some of that behavior, but there's no like proof that's like, oh my God, put him in jail. And this would be bigger than rap battle if that ends up happening. It has nothing to do with the battle. It's about just a terrible human doing terrible things. But that's a different conversation. But the fact that that's even out there, and that's what I'm trying to explain, it's a shock value. If it's true, it's outrageous, and we can't give Drake a pass on that. So those are the type of conversations that we can have as people. But in the end of the day, some of that stuff is like, is it true? Is it not? Okay. And so we'll get into that a little more later. But I wanted to start off with the truth and understanding the truth or lies and judging a rap bar, even if it sounds good to you and you like the bar, if it's not true, then we shouldn't use it as a part of the judgment if this is a win or a loss. And then you take the second half of this conversation, and this is, a kind of thing that happens in hip hop, right? People take subliminals and people shoot shots. That's something that it's natural for any competitive, even in sports. If somebody talks trash to me, I'm going to play a little harder. I'm going to get a little more motivation. It's just the way things go. And the rap battle also has been going on for a while with these two guys. We have some breakdowns about some of that stuff in the different video, but the principle here is they've had this going on. Even as they made their songs together, they went on tour together, still was shots already being shot at. And if you look at right now, J. Cole, Kendrick, and Drake, all of them had their shots back and forth. But it's really the friendly fire when it comes to the sport of hip hop. It's just a part of the game. Okay, but now it starts to get personal. And this is where things shift. And this is where I want to talk about a second part of it where who's sunning who, right? And who's really the big dog in this scenario. And so before we get into that, I do want to talk about my history. There was a thing where, if you guys don't know, I'm a rap artist, and I was performing in the early 2000s. I was performing everywhere with some really big names, opening up for them and things like that, and having rap battles all over the place. And there was this guy who I'm not going to name, was a homeless kid who my uncle brought in, helped, got him clothes, got him a job, tried to get his life together for him. And he also was asking me to help the dude with music. And so I came, and he was a talented guy, but he couldn't write songs. I helped him start writing songs and motivated him. It's like, let's get some real music out there. I'm going to do choruses, raps. We're not going to just sit here freestyle all day. And so I put him on with that. I brought him to studios with some really great studios. I brought him to these very cool actual performances, and also put him on on the radio with my songs. I had him singing them and stuff like that. So I helped him as much as I could. Maybe a little bit less than 10 years passed, and one of the producers that we worked with said, "Hey man, he has a diss track. You need to come listen to this." And so he had a diss track against me, the guy who helped him, and I've never done nothing wrong to this guy. So, it's a part of the competitive nature to get petty like that. But see, here's the thing, what people don't know behind the scenes on that scenario, I ran into him one day after that, finding out, because I hit him up. I said, "Yo, you need to come see me." I was ready to beef because it's like, you betraying me. It's different for me. It was nothing to do with the battle of the rap. I didn't care. He didn't really say much, but it was just as a human. So then we ended up bumping into each other. He gets on his knees and he's bowing down. He's hugging my feet. "Please, man, I'm sorry, man. Please don't do nothing to me." And he's embarrassing. I'm like, "Bruh, cut it out, man." You know? And so this is the part that people don't know, the personal side, where it's like, yo, this is bigger than rap. And so Kendrick Lamar and Drake also had a scenario just like this. And that's why I explained that story, where Drake gave Kendrick a shot. He loved his music, so he let him get on some songs or whatever. Of course, you're going to put somebody that talented on your songs. And he brought him on tour, which is a big hookup that helped Kendrick get the spotlight, which we already knew he was going to be amazing. But being doing that as a favor while they're taking shots at each other, cool. The thing was, Kendrick did the control verse, which started the pettiness, where it took it to the next level, where Drake is on interviews, kind of annoyed and talking down about Kendrick Lamar, while trying to be nice, but still is disrespectful. And that's what started the whole beef. And the reason I'm bringing this up, and this is a big starter topic, is the personal side matters. So if I'm going to attack you, it's going to get real. And so from there, that's where a lot of shots were going back and forth. And then you got first person shooter with J. Cole, who Kendrick loves. And then Drake sitting there talking about they're the best, they're the best. And Kendrick's not on that song. So, of course, Kendrick is going to be as foul as possible and literally detach his head in the scenario he comes out with like that. And he's ripping Drake up. And it's just a verse, it's not even a full song. Right. And this is where things start to change. And the dynamic of the whole experience gets very real. And so I don't want to dive into every song. We're not going to go deep down the rabbit hole, but the point is that's how it all came to be. Okay. Like that. Then, of course, Push Up was cool. The thing was, and the reason why we're going to start breaking this stuff down a little bit to kind of give you some breakdowns. The thing with Push Up, right? And to try to like help people understand, there's a lot of references to a lot of other people. He's not really hitting Kendrick the whole time. It's kind of like just all over the place. And unfortunately, Drake did this a lot. It's like when somebody rap battles and they're talking about their Rolex and their BMW or whatever, and it's like, bruh, no one cares. Like you chop someone's head off. This is what rap is about. And so Drake had some things like Big Step in, about his shoe size being a size 7, things like that. He talked about being Prince, um, you know, things like that. And it's interesting. And the worst part about that push up song was when he attacked the wife, and he talked about the wife, basically calling Kendrick a midget. But the thing is like you started now you just push the borderline over the limit, right? Cool. That's fine. Drake actually took a shot at him. And that was the first real shot, in my opinion, that Drake took. And Kendrick hasn't even struck yet. He's just casually battle rapping. So this is what the second half of like what is actual hits? Like when are you actually fighting? Targeting someone for real, their personality, dissing them in a way. That's when it's like, okay, this is a war now. And so that's what opened up the war. But Drake, instead of actually letting it sit, he drops another track, which is called Tailor Made. And that Tailor Made song, honestly, I hate to say this for anybody listening. I know you, if you're a Drake fan, you're not gonna like this part, but that is a cancel. Like Drake just revealed how whack he is to have Tupac Shakur, specifically Tupac Shakur, AI come in and rap in a rap battle. Because the thing is like if Drake had the best verse in the history of battle raps, that song could maybe be like, damn, you know what? That's crazy. But his bars were not even that good. And Tupac and Snoop Dogg's also wasn't like some heavy hitting. He had subliminals in there and just kind of clarifying more so like, oh, there's no cease and assist, supposedly, which we'll get into later. That's a different topic. I'm sorry, brought that up. But there's a whole lot of conversations um about that. But the point is that's just something that you don't do. Bring Tupac into this. He's dead. And it was just supposedly people want to make it creative. And sure, but you're battling somebody, bro. You got to chop their head off. You got to attack. So that song is canceled. Push Up only has like one good hit as far as like really targeting Kendrick. All right. Then time passes, of course. Then this is deserves its own video. Euphoria is probably the most elaborate diss track that I heard in a long time, specifically because just the title alone, the timing when it's released, the breakdowns in it that are just digging deep into to Drake as a human, as a character, all of it. There's a lot of layers to all of it, you know. And he gets into stuff that we all know that's true about Drake. That's like, yo, come on, bro. For example, when he says, I like Drake for the melodies. I don't like him when he's trying to act tough. And this is just facts, right? There's no like denying it. Like we know he's not really a tough guy. All the facade is fun, it's cool. We love his music, but cut that out. Right. And then that fake persona, he keeps on addressing it, whether it's about his fake abs, you know, all this stuff that we've seen evidence for. A lot of like scenarios kind of showcase some of this fake stuff that Drake has done and that we've seen over and over and over and over. And it's okay, right? Like for me, it is what it is. I'm not here to judge a human being. But if we in a rap battle now, it's like, oh, you know what? He is punching you in the face for that. 'Cause this is all about like being able to say truths, like I said earlier, while sustaining creativity, and which we're gonna get into the last part, which is creativity. And so this is where, for me, Euphoria changed everything. Because now it's like, damn, like how do you come back from somebody exposing who you are, how you are, and so on and so on. And there's layers that I couldn't even have to make a separate video for, guys. But so many layers in that song that's crazy. And it's just exposing Drake for his fakeness, which is facts, and a lot of other accusation as well. But that's pretty much some of what we could get into. And then for the back to back, which he referenced in that song, he throws out another song called 616 in LA. And this is that title alone is just a reference to many things. But I'm telling you, the double entendres for both of these songs are so crazy that it's just powerhouse moves, you know? And so the cringe stuff, the little memes and nonsense that Drake is throwing, Kendrick is being creative with the actual rap, with the titles, with the times he releases them, all of that stuff. Where, for example, Father's Day, Tupac Shakur's birthday, there's a list of many things that fall in line with 616 time wise. And so it's just crazy. And and we're not going to get into breaking down every lyric, but that's just an example. Now, in those songs, he's also telling Drake, "I can read your every move." And then we had to wait for Drake's response, which Drake is pretty fast. It took him what, maybe a week to get this song back out there, which was very cool. And it's called Family Matters. And this was a banger when it comes to creativity as far as the video. It's basically a music video, but it's shot very abstract and it just has like memes and like subliminal messages in it. And to be honest, that is the best part of the song. And this song is not great on its own compared to what we already heard and what we're going to hear after. And this is where he has some fire bars. And I mean, like, he's attacking Rick Ross, ASAP Rocky, The Weeknd, Metro, Future. I mean, like, he's going at everybody. Like I said again, this is not a healthy look. It's like who you are attacking here. And so he just brings back the already talked about um the wife once again, comparing Kendrick to Bobby Brown, and then doubling down on the whole thing about his violence and the way he is and trying to be disrespectful in that. And that's a total good attack. And that's probably one of the best things he said on there because it's true. Do you follow where I'm going with this, guys? And I like it. There's 3 songs as far as beats in that dish, which is fire. And then he kind of insinuates that the cease and assist is not true, that never happened, supposedly. And then the rest of the song is him defending himself about trying to like say, no, none of it's true, none of it's true. And we don't know, right? Like some of the stuff is still alleged things. But literally in less than 20 minutes, like a chess master, he put a checkmate move. Kendrick Lamar drops Meet the Gramps. And this is a song dedicated to, guess who? Drake's family. Remember, Drake just dissed him with Family Matters. Well, guess what? Now you expose yourself because Kendrick already knew what you were going to try to do. And so he eats him alive. And to me, this is like one of the most diabolical diss records, right? It's not going to be a song you bump in the club or anything, but it's so diabolical. Like, it is addressing Drake's son, his father. He's addressing Drake's mother. He addresses Drake as well, but then there's a weird one that's alleged, and this again, if it's true or not, we don't know, and it doesn't even matter. But supposedly another daughter that he's hiding, And I don't care if it's true or not. It has nothing to do with the rap battle. Not that big of a deal, but it is exposing Drake even more. But in the song, he's really digging at Drake as a human being and cutting off everything about him, about his fatherhood, but his sexual offender, just like Weinstein. He compares him to Weinstein basically. He's basically, you know, talking about his gambling problem, his addictions. He's popping too many pills. He spends too much money. He's not like, and then how Drake's surrounded by liars and how he's a liar, that he lies about his religious views. He lied about his surgery, his fake accents. I mean, like the list goes on with the ghostwriter. He lied about his ghostwriters. He lied about so many things. And again, I don't, most of that stuff is true. The daughter one is the one that's in question, and the sexual offender is another one that's in question. But the rest of it is basically facts. And this is where I was explaining, and this is where also the creative part, like to write a song dedicated to Drake's family called "Meet the Grams," aka that's the name of his father. Uh, that's so creative, and then it to be true, most of it, besides the daughter verse, which is only one part of the song. Um, and responding in 20 minutes after Drake drops Family Matters. It is probably the most insane comeback that you've heard in a long time if you take into account how fast that dropped right after. And you gotta love this diabolical presentation. And I don't know how Drake will come back. And honestly, I just want him to make dope music. Like, let him continue to make good music. And hopefully, the offender part isn't true about Drake, because if it is, that changes everything. But everything else is already, we knew he was had a lot of phony stuff, and it comes with the territory. And he's like a Jewish guy who plays that role when he needs to, and then he comes and acts like he's from the hood as well. And it's like, yo, let him be. Like, he's just a music artist making good music. And I'm not trying to say Kendrick is bullying him, but it's like, why does that matter? Let's leave him alone. Let him keep making his music. I get they got the beef, they got it going on, and I just feel bad about it. So that's my opinion when it comes to the beef and the drama. I love this to the death. Like, it's fun, it's interesting. You gotta give a shout out to J. Cole, who realized, yo, this is gonna get real. I ain't trying to jump in on this. This ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm backing up out of this. And you gotta love it because it just takes this to the next level. Because now it's just like a one-on-one. And we're gonna see who got what it takes. And so far, Kendrick is, in my opinion, and you can agree to disagree, winning this rap battle by a lot. And if there's any truth, because everything that Drake said about Kendrick, there's not much there. Like, if you actually look at the battle and you say, okay, he's hitting him with some heavy stuff. But with Drake, there's so much stuff that he hits him with that is already true. And then the last two hits, which is the daughter and the offender, if that's true, then oh my goodness, it's even worse than what I thought. It's obliteration. Because that means Drake's going to jail. Like, it's not even a rap battle no more. It's just personal, like real life stuff. And I don't know. But at the end of the day, um, creativity is where it's at. And I'll end it with that conversation. Drake's Family Matters diss is very creative for the video, but that has nothing to do with a battle. Like, you got to be able to just kill it with the verse. And I didn't feel like he did much. So it's one of those, nah, it's all right. That's my opinion. And so now, how do you judge it again? Let's kind of rewind everything I'm saying. Who's saying the truth? Who's the most creative? Who delivers it the best? Those three things are the general aspects that are going to make a great battle on who's the best. Now, leave in the comments who you think is winning. Again, I'm sorry to throw a little bit of what I see, but this is just some of the stuff we've already known. But share your thoughts and opinions down below. Appreciate y'all. See you on the next one that should be popping up right now. Got some really good stuff coming. Peace.